D tune. There's some strengths you need to do these hammer-ons from nowhere. Neck bend as well. Oh, this is really cool. Alright guys, Jack here, JBF Music and Guitar Lessons. What I've got for you today is a bit of a guitar lesson on, I think his name is pronounced Marcin, Beethoven's Für Elise. Right, so most of this is totally beyond my ability. It's not really my wheelhouse. I'm more of an electric rock guy, but there's some really cool things going on here that I want to at least sort of break down and explain. So there's a cool thing he does around here in the guitar. I've got that queued up just now. So these are called machine heads or tuning pegs. You can get special ones that when you move them, they go to a proper pitch. I can't tell if he's got those ones or not. But basically, you can hit the string. He's down in a D standard tuning. So if you're interested, it's from this low string here. It's a D, a G, a C, an A sharp. That was wrong. An F, an A, and then a D. So it's like standard tuning, but everything's down a tone. So he's hitting this low string here and pitching with his ear how low he wants it to go, and then bending it back up into tune. So if you mess this up and then bend it too far, the whole rest of your song is going to be out of tune, right? So it's a risky move that you've got to have a very good ear and very good control to do, because this isn't a common technique, as you probably know. So, you know, it's like 20 seconds of the song, he's doing this impressive enough finger picking. It by itself is great playing, and then adding in these like very contemporary, quite kind of risky moves to do. As I say, there are tuning machines, tuning pegs you get where it kind of clips, it lets you know when you hit a note and you can bend back. Whether he has those or not, I don't know. Okay, so this next part combines two of the things I was mentioning. One is hammer-ons from nowhere, and the other is harmonics. And he squeezes it all into a tiny, tiny fraction of a second here. Right, so you might have heard this lovely little kind of note ringing out at the start. I'll pop it back just so you can hear it. So the reason it rings out and kind of shimmers more than other notes is because it's played slightly differently. So what he's doing is you get things called harmonics, where basically you put your finger, rather than it being behind the fret wire as normal, you put it on the fret wire and just a tiny bit of pressure, so your finger's just laying on the string. And hopefully you can hear that holding the note just has a different quality to the harmonic. A harmonic is more of a kind of bell-like kind of shimmer to it. It sounds a bit more like a pure kind of note. They just kind of ring out a bit more. But to make things more complicated, what he's doing is called an artificial harmonic. So instead of using two hands for it, he's using one, because this is like a one-man band, right? So he's got to make every digit count. He's taking his first finger, putting it just above, what would that be, the 21st fret, 19th fret on what used to be the B string. It's now a C string, an A string now, for those of you who are interested in that kind of thing. And you rest your finger just above the fret wire and pluck the string with your thumb. And I'm not very good at these, not compared to this guy anyway. Yeah, so that's what you get. Right, not an easy technique to do, let alone while you're doing all this other stuff. And of course he's doing other stuff, because look at him go. It's like a dino. So while he's hitting that note, the reason he's probably done it with one hand is as soon as he plays this harmonic, he's hammering on from nowhere and doing this insane scale run. So slowly, I'll use the pick so you can kind of hear the notes. I think he's doing something like... and then doing another harmonic, which we'll come to in a second. But rather than picking the notes or picking one note per string, he's doing hammer-ons from nowhere. So hammering on is basically when you use a finger to hammer on another note, right? Here, hammering on from nowhere, as you probably had deduced, is not picking the string at all, very flamboyantly putting his hand up like that, just using raw finger strength and technique to do it. Now, it's something I'm not good at, particularly on acoustic, but if you want this run, I think he's doing it at slow speed here so I can manage it. Okay, so we've got that 7 on the lowest string, up to 9, up to 10, onto the next string, 9 to 10, onto the next string, and then we've got a 7 to a 9 to a 10. What I think he's doing here on the next string, we've got 7 all the way up to 11, which is difficult to hammer on with your finger. This is where you really need that strength that he's got coming in. Then wrapping it up with this 8, 10 on the next string. And you can hear as my strings get thinner, as I get closer to the floor, it's much harder to get a big sound out of it. It's easier. It's slightly easier on these lower strings. So if we play this run one more time, right? It starts off with this harmonic. And if you hear that note at the end, I think it's a tap note rather than a harmonic. It might be another artificial harmonic. You might be playing the 12th fret on what used to be the B string, is now the A string. Like that, he might be tapping it. I can't totally tell. But the reason he's doing this, I suspect, is to give his left hand to get down here. So this is just to hit home at how clever this stuff is. Not only is it like showy technique-wise, but there's a lot of problem solving going on. So he's got this hand here, needs to get down to here to do the main kind of melody, right? If it's up here, it's going to be a bit of a jump. So if this hand takes care of this note, this hand can get down here and he can, start with the melody. So it's an insane amount of technique, and also this, like, he's got an idea of how he wants it to sound, how he wants to embellish the song. How do you get from A to B using this like wealth of technique that he has? So I don't think I'll be able to play this, but I will give it a go. So we've got the artificial harmonic, let's get that. And at the same time he's hammering this note on. Okay, in a very controlled environment, I can almost get it. Yeah, so you got that. Down to here. And into the main melody. So I said neck bend, right? That's what this thing is here. So it sounds like it's that harmonic there. And if you hear a slight fluctuation in pitch, very subtle. So that's why he's doing this. I do not like doing these, because essentially what you're doing is pulling the neck away from the body. This hand here keeps the body stable, this hand pushes the neck forward. Do a louder harmonic so you can hopefully hear it. If you listen closely, there's a slight pitch going up and down. To include a technique like that in a song, it's more common to do on an electric guitar. There's Les Pauls in particular, people Slash does them. And as I say, I don't like them because they are trying to just ever so slightly wrench the neck away from the body. So bits like this where he's frantically smashing the guitar with his right hand, okay? After the hair swipe, obviously. So different parts of the guitar body do produce a different sound, a different timbre. So like if you hit here softly, it's different to hard. If you hit here, it's different to here. So typically this is maybe more of a bass drum. Having your fingers or your knuckles knock on it's maybe more like a snare drum. And then you might use that bit, or kind of here, or there even, for kind of percussive tom-like sounds. And he's really taking advantage of the different areas that produce these different sounds and how to get them. Because you could flick your fingers here, and you get a kind of tom sound. You could use your finger flat here, and you get a kind of bass drum sound as well. So when I was talking about artificial harmonics, this is a really great example of him doing one in the song. If you watch his finger, how it just kind of went over here and you heard that. There. So he's kind of using the side of his finger, which is a really cool idea. So the reason for that, I've managed to pause it just at the right time. You can see he's actually picking the string with his little finger. So this is something that, as a rock musician, totally out of my wheelhouse. Getting a good sound and a harmonic by picking that. Can I even do that? Oh, barely. Okay, it's not as bad as I thought it'd be, but it doesn't feel natural. He's using his little finger to pick the string and his first finger to get the harmonic. There's another really novelty noise he used that I've got more or less queued up here. You can kind of see what he's doing. So what he's doing here is picking behind the nut. So as you can tell, mine sounds pretty awful, so I don't know if his guitar is set up in such a way that this note sounds nice, or if there's a bit of studio trickery going on. But none of these are particularly nice sounding notes. It is a very unusual technique, and the only guitarists that spring to mind that kind of use this in a somewhat musical way, but in a more kind of unorthodox way, would be Tom Morello from Rage Against the Machine and Jose, whose second name I always forget, from the Pixies. Be really up for checking out more stuff from this guy, so suggestions down below. As always, a huge shout out and a massive thank you to Rabbi Rabs, Glenn Kelly, Stephen Williams, Rebecca Hay, Falcon Sinner and Dale's Ghost for the continued support on Patreon. If you yourself have something you'd like me to check out, make sure to hit me up at patreon.com/JBFmusic. Cheers guys, have a good one.